So before I get into this, originally I was going to analyze the ethics of artificial intelligence and whether or not it's right or wrong to create something, a sentient being with the ability to think like us. But I realized I don't really understand artificial intelligence too well. I looked over it a bit and I kind of get a gist of where it's going, but really it's a very complicated topic that scientists study for years and years and years. I really went into it all because I'm a really big movie fan. My father's a producer and distributor for films. And I've always really been into movies like Space Odyssey, The Matrix, iRobot, Terminator, movies like that. So I kind of wanted to go into it a bit. So first I checked out kind of the history, the evolution of artificial intelligence. So it all began really in 1943. This is kind of a theoretical machine. It never was actually used. It's called the analytical engine. It was invented by Charles Babbage. And essentially, it's a programmable computer, like the first ever. It was never built. This is only a model of it. Then we went into the more modern computers. They were created more around the Second World War. This is called the Z3. There is also the ENIAC and the Colossus. All these computers were used for sending transatlantic messages in code, and in turn, these other computers would be used to decode these messages. So we're going into kind of the birth of artificial intelligence after computers are created. And this all came about, really, artificial intelligence, because during this time, recent research led in neurology showed that the brain was basically an electrical network of neurons. Electricity shot through the brain. So people were like, oh, well, we have machines that runs on electricity. Maybe we can create something similar, a machine brain in a sense, not a human brain. So up here, this is a picture of an IBM computer. Normally a computer would take around the size of this classroom, and my iPhone is 1,000 times stronger than it. So that's kind of where we've gone. So the first AI researchers used computers, and what they would do is they'd analyze and create artificial neutrons that could do simple functions, addition, subtraction, things like that. A huge computer, that's all it could do. So now I'm gonna jump ahead to the 50s because there's just so much that goes on during this time. So digital computers have now become available, and they realize that computers can actually manipulate numbers and symbols, and that is it's a very similar idea to how the human brain can function and recognize certain things and see patterns in certain things. So they realize this. So between around World War II and the 50s, artificial intelligence kind of went through many periods of growth, but also a lot of periods of stagnation where they felt they were going nowhere, really, because they originally believed that it would take 20 to 30 years for them to create this fully functioning human brain that could think and react, when really they were dead wrong. So I'm going to skip ahead 50 years. So in 2011, on a recorded episode of Jeopardy that Mr. Molnar told me about, there was this IBM-built machine called Watson. And Watson competed against the reigning Jeopardy experts. Basically, Watson is an artificial intelligent computer. It has a cognitive intelligence that processes information like a human and has the ability to learn from its mistakes and use it to its advantage. This means that it basically has the average thinking ability of a human brain, only it's much, much faster. When I watched the recorded episode, it originally started off pretty evenly between these experts and Watson, but then slowly it picked up, and in the end it ended up just destroying these human experts, these people that they're like the best for random facts. I hadn't heard of Jeopardy until Mr. Momo told me. I guess we don't have it in Canada. But it was pretty wild. This machine, I think the final score was like 50,000 to like a couple thousand, and apparently it's a pretty big margin. So I'm going to go on from then. Where are we headed, and what is the general purpose of AI? Like I said before, AI machines are supposed to do everything that humans can do. They can think and react, and beyond that, they want to make sure that a machine can feel emotion. And this is probably the hardest process of artificial intelligence. But what does this mean for the future of artificial intelligence? So you have Siri on your phone, right? And there are a lot that creates a lot of options for the future. A voice that can recognize speech and come up with certain answers, maybe not always necessarily correct. So companies like Cognitive Code, Google, Intel, and Boston Dynamics are working on the highest cutting edge of AI. They work on the programmable part, and they also work on the physical part, like creating humanoid robots or arms that work practically like a robotic arm would. A robotic arm would work like a human arm. Okay, so here I have Sylvia. Sylvia stands for Symbolically Isolated Linguistically Variable Intelligence Algorithms. That's a mouthful. So what does it actually mean? It means that Sylvia, this program, can interpret text, speech, or other input while being able to interact with the user. So basically, it takes language input, converts it into mathematical algorithms, and decides what needs to be executed while forming a response to the user at the same time. So some examples of what Sylvia could do. A personal AI system of the future could notice whether its user is working late. The user texts his or her spouse to say so. Sylvia can pick up on that and offer to send the text. Coffee orders and times of orders could be recognized, even proactively seeking promotions or deals offered by your favorite coffee bar. All the while, the interaction between you and Sylvia occurs through conversation, no keyboard required. So, what's happening? What is going to happen? I've talked a lot about where we are now, but where are we headed? So Sylvia shows that AI is actually on the right path. But how long really until we have a fully operating humanoid robot? Watson, which I referred to earlier, shows one processing level in order to find an answer. Humans function on a much higher level, such as emotion. Emotions require 20 to 30 different levels in order to react in a certain way, such as appreciating music, let's say, or being sad by a death in the family, or feeling fulfilled from graduation. Like I said earlier, at first it was thought that it was 30 years until we'd have this whole idea perfected, but it was totally misjudged. Computers are already helping humanity in all aspects of life. Programs like Watson can now determine fluctuations in the market, diagnose patients with disease, and operate tactical weaponry simultaneously. Humans are complex. However, at the rate in which advancements are being made, we can expect something near human in the close future. Thank you.
What if the robot